Transgender athlete Anne Andres stepped onto the podium in first place at the Women's Canadian Powerlifting Regional Championships this month. The 6'2" athlete, born a biological male, stormed the competition and won by lifting 470 pounds more than the runner-up. However, if Anne competed against men, they wouldn't even rank in the top 6,000. Is this a war on women? I'm joined by record-breaking powerlifter April Hutchinson, who is a runner-up to Anne. April, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
And so what's going on? I mean, it seems ridiculous that a biological male can come into women's sports and then break records by such insane margins.
Yeah, basically here in Canada, my federation, the Canadian Powerlifting Union, has created a trans inclusion policy after we sent so many letters in, and even myself, legal letters. They did not create a policy to protect women. Instead, they basically created a trans inclusion policy. So basically, yourself, you could walk in tomorrow, my boyfriend could walk in tomorrow and just identify as a female if they're feeling like a female that day, walk on in, crush some records, and then come back the next day and say, I'm a man again. So it's pretty sad.
So there aren't even the requirements to take hormones or transition or have surgery. I could literally just say, hey, my pronouns are she, her, I'm a woman, and then go in there and smash them. I doubt I could actually lift as much as you, April, but, you know, in theory.
Yeah, well, no, that's the thing. People, they don't even have to declare. So what happened on Sunday, all these people clapping, and one woman on the podium had no idea that Anne was a man, because part of the inclusion policy states that you don't even have to declare that you're transgender, and definitely no hormone therapy or testing or anything like that. No testing at all.
And did you know that Anne was born a man?
Yeah, so I know he was born a man because I actually used to be friends with him about 4 years ago. We would chit chat on Facebook, and all along he would call himself a she-boy. And I was like, well, what's a she-boy? I wasn't really down with the lingo. And then we were talking about Laura Hubbard one day, the Olympic transgender athlete. And I said, oh, he should not be competing in the Olympics. And Anne said, well, I'm a man. Did you not know that I transitioned after 20 years old? And I said, I had no idea. And I said, you should not be in women's sports, definitely. And then he blocked and deleted me. And since then, I've known, and I've been writing my federation for years. I was very alone in my fight. This was like 3 or 4 years ago. And finally, people are catching on and going, wow, like I've actually had people like Riley Gaines help me, Olympic athletes, reach out and actually fund me to get a lawyer. And it's been a long battle, but this year people are opening up their eyes, which is wonderful.
And how did it feel losing to a biological male and standing on that podium knowing that you would have been a rank higher?
Well, I will never, ever compete against Anne. I actually was supposed to compete against Anne at the Nationals in February. So I think everyone thought I was going to show up, but I didn't. The day of the competition, I wrote my federation and I said, I will not be showing up if there's a biological man in the competition. And then about 20 women in my support showed up at the Nationals and protested.
And some people would say, well, these transgender women, although, I mean, this doesn't seem to be a transgender woman who's put much effort in, but, you know, transgender women need somewhere to compete. What would you think would be a solution to the dilemma?
Yeah, and you know what? I think everyone should have the right to lift. Person should have the right to compete in sports. I definitely agree with that. But, I mean, when it comes to, sports specifically, I'm just talking sports related, there needs to be separate categories because, Anne transitioned after 20. So he still has the muscle mass, the lung capacity, bone density, fast twitch fibers. The list goes on. He has actually stated himself that he has an advantage and still goes through with it. And so, all we ask for is a separate category.